The Hale House fire is the inciting incident in both Season 1 and Season 4 of Teen Wolf. The house burned 6 years before we meet protagonist Scott McCall, but had the fire not killed 8 of the Hale family, Scott would likely never have become a werewolf. Visually, we have only Peter Hale's admittedly faulty memory of the event. In those flashes, there are only 2 men, Unger and Reddick, splashing gasoline around the base of the Hale house and lighting it up. Thanks to Sheriff Stilinski's digging in response to Peter's killing spree, we now know there was a conspiracy with at least 6 people involved. At the heart of the plan was Kate Argent. A hunter by training, she wanted to wipe out the Hale family. She got close to young Derek Hale, gained information on the family, then formulated her plan. Kate approached science teacher Adrian Harris and pumped him for information on how to commit arson and get away with it. She then approached Unger, Reddick, and the guy from the video store. All had criminal records and experience with arson. Finally, to cover up the crime, she managed to get insurance investigator Garrison Myers to rule the fire accidental, avoiding further investigation. Myers was later fired for suspected fraud and became Scott McCall's school bus driver. With the exception of Adrian Harris, all the conspirators died at the hands of Peter Hale.
That might seem like a stupid question, but when I put forth my belief that all murder is wrong and any killing of another person will always damage the killer's soul, I got paragraphs about how killing bad guys is the moral thing to do, and a good guy with a gun, and if only Batman had killed the Joker. So let's follow that train along to its logical terminus. If you know of a potential threat to human life, killing to neutralize that threat is the right thing to do. Well, werewolves present a constant danger to human life. Sure, they're well behaved most of the time, but within young Kate Argent's life, she witnessed at least one murder by a werewolf within her group of hunters.
Because your young, naive beta killed one of them.
Marco?
He killed a hunter, didn't he?
Accidentally.
Yes, it was an accident, I'm sure. But the danger that it might happen again is just too great. So Season 1 Kate represents the ultimate good guy with a gun. Several guns and special werewolf killing ammo. This logic train means we also have to examine pre-season 2 Gerard. I say pre-season 2 because everything he did from then on was just self-serving hypocrisy. But before the cancer, it's obvious that he was just protecting people. I mean, Gerard had heard what happened to his brother Alexander. Gerard knew how easily werewolves could go off, and killing them could potentially save a lot of lives.
We find them. We kill them. We kill them all.
All right, enough pontificating. The bottom line here is that there are no heroes when it comes to killing. Good guys with guns damage their souls too. It's inescapable for anyone who takes another person's life. Hello there, I'm Paul Ray from the official Teen Wolf Wiki, and today I'm taking my life in my hands by defending one of the most hated women in the entire Teen Wolf universe. If you like my weekly wanderings into the woods of Beacon Hills, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so they'll let you know when new videos come out. Like I said, I'm putting my life in mortal danger here. In fact, I'm releasing this video right after that big behind-the-scenes thing I did, so most people are still watching that and will just ignore this one. I'm not delusional. I know everybody hates Kate, and we all have some very good reasons to hate Kate.
If you want to provoke him, say something like, "Too bad your sister bit it before she had her first litter. Too bad she howled like a bitch when we cut her in half!" Hey, handsome.
Very good reasons to hate Kate. But the thing I've been hearing most about lately, since we heard about Derek's 15-year-old son, is that Kate was a sex offender who molested an underage boy and then killed his family. In case that part didn't get past the YouTube censors, Kate was this guy from that cartoon on Fox.
Where you going, kids? Hey, I just want to talk to you. Why don't you come over to my place for a glass of wine and a couple of fruit pies, and then we can go in the back room and play crazy snakes.
Anyway, my recent videos explaining the canonical timeline likely mean that Derek was 18 or 19 when Kate deceived him. This means that Derek was either over the age of consent and majority in California, or he was extremely close at the time of the fire. It also means that Kate and Derek were, at most, just 4 years apart in age when they were together. So, while she was a literal psychopath, Kate probably wasn't Jared from Subway. Now, at the time of her first death in February of year 1, Kate was 28. So she was around 22 at the time of the fire. Now, I don't think they were together very long, but even if she started grooming Derek immediately after Paige's death, that would have been a 17 or 18-year-old targeting a 15-year-old. Now, that's not good. I'm not saying that that's fine, but even in California, where they don't have the so-called Romeo and Juliet exceptions to age-inappropriate relationships, that's not a felony. I did not expect the news that Derek was probably older during the fire to upset so many people. But apparently, in building their personal fandoms, a lot of folks need Derek to be even more victimized than he already was. Again, Kate is supervillain level evil. She used Derek to get information that she later would use to murder his family. That is bad enough. I don't understand why people need her to be guilty of an additional set of crimes. Yes, I believe Kate is just a malformed werewolf too. As I proposed with Jackson and his Kanema transformation, Kate was created by a werewolf spark, and therefore Kate, just like all the bites gone wrong, should be considered just a malformed werewolf. Let's go back to the beginning. Peter scratches and kills Kate, but his scratch is so deep that he shared some of his werewolf-making alpha spark with her. Just like with my Jackson theory, Peter's spark encounters a twisted soul, but this soul is twisted in a different way, and the spark gets twisted into a brand new shape. Meanwhile, this news story reaches Mexico, and while the Argents are too busy mourning to think about it, Araya Calavera knows that the scratch of an alpha can be transformative. She heads to Beacon Hills to make sure, and as she feared, Kate's wounds are healing, so they take the body so she can do the right thing and unalive herself. We all know what follows from watching season 4.
Hey, you alright?
Just a second.
Now, as spectacular and cat-like as Kate is here, what you are seeing is just a malformed werewolf. But, you say, Kate looks like a cat and we call her a werejaguar. This is true, but to that I will say that sometimes we call ugly grapes raisins, but it doesn't change the fact that all raisins are grapes from the same vine. But here my malformed werewolf explanation gets a little more complicated.
So why don't you just tell us? Where's La Loba?
Where is the she-wolf?
Araya and Severo don't seem to think of her as a traditional Mexican werejaguar, and they repeatedly call Kate La Loba, which is from another native Mexican myth about a woman who collects skeletons and breathes life back into them. Now that describes Kate's protectors, the berserkers, pretty well, but it doesn't mention her cat parts at all.
The church was built over the ruins of an Aztec temple. It belonged to a people called the Nuo.
Shapeshifters.
We're jaguars.
Now there were undoubtedly werejaguars in Mexico at one time. So why didn't the Calaveras call her that? I suggest that they had enough experience to know that despite what Kate looked like, she was just another malformed werewolf. Again, werejaguars are a real thing in Mexico. They built a whole temple to Tezcatlipoca that was run by a bunch of warlock werefolk who could turn into cat-like creatures. Kate was apparently similar enough to those creatures to make the temple work, but really she was just another malformed werewolf.